Medic Life Episode 20, EMS. Is it really a dangerous job? And your intro to my new co-host, Marty D. You can find all of that in this episode, so stick around. This is Medic Life, a weekly video podcast for EMS professionals, bringing you real-world knowledge about today's EMS with your host, John Newton. Lifers, it's time for your weekly dose of Medic Life, where we delve into everyday topics in EMS. Yes, I'm your host, John Newton, and this week, yes, guys, I am super excited. We're here with Marty, my new co-host. Yes, and we're going to talk about EMS and how dangerous, yes, it can be. If this is your first time watching or listening, thanks for coming. Come on back and feel free to subscribe to our show on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, and Spreaker. And you can even follow me on Twitter at j_DCME. And as always, the links are down here in the bottom of the description. And you can even find this information on mediclifetv.com. Guys, super excited. Been talking to my bud Mart here for a little while. Excited to kick off this first episode. I think he's a little anxious, a little apprehensive. Yeah, Marty, welcome to the program. Are you ready for this epic awesomeness we're about to put down for these?
I'm excited. I'm excited to be with you.
I'm glad, man. This is going to be fun. I've done some shows with some other folks, talked to some physicians, some other professionals. I know you've seen some of the shows. You and I have talked about it a little bit. This is going to be fun. For those of you who don't know, Marty D lives in Houston, Texas. That's why he's here Skype. I'm here at the Medic Life Studios in Augusta, Georgia. And he and I he kind of helped me put this brainchild together, Medic Life. I don't know, maybe it was a really bad idea. I don't know, you guys are watching, so maybe it wasn't too bad. But Marty has this outsider's view. He doesn't currently practice in EMS, but he knows a lot about EMS. He's been involved in EMS for a couple of years now, and he's going to help me provide a different perspective for you guys. Well, we all times see these shows. We do podcasts. We have interviews. We do all kinds of social media, written media, and we put it out there to people, and it's always from our point of view. So I thought it would be good to add Marty in. So, yeah, I'm going to break you in with a really nice, light side topic. We're going to talk a little bit about, I know it's crazy, right? EMS assaults. Man, it has been crazy this last year. As we were getting into the holidays, man, did you see all this stuff in the news that was going on that we're hearing about?
I heard the Pennsylvania one, but that's about all I heard. I didn't really hear about the others.
Yeah, so it made the big news there, the stabbing in Pennsylvania. There was a little bit of a manhunt, and I think they ended up finding the person. You know, it has spawned a lot of just crazy stuff that we haven't even thought about. So I was doing some research for this show, and I know you can see the notes there as we're kind of jibber-jabbering back and forth. And I was like, well, let me see what I can find statistics. First thing that pops up, top of the Google search list, 2002. This is more than a decade old. Crazy stuff. They were talking about this a decade ago, and the actual data that they actually got was from the late 90s. And it really talked about how not just it's dangerous for police, it's dangerous for fire, but it's even dangerous for EMS. And of the statistics that they polled and the studies and the stuff that they found, it was just unreal, the number of just assaults, auto accidents involved with ambulances that resulted in deaths, even helicopter crashes. So it's just been, it was really eye-opening to see that we were already looking at this a decade ago and how it has changed. And then we're at the end of 2015. We're now in 2016, and how it's just gotten crazy. I saw this thing, Cleveland EMS required to wear bulletproof vests, man. What do you think about that? How crazy is that?
I think that's absolutely insane. So my thought process, in terms of EMS, so I don't know anything about EMS, right? I know a little bit, but not really.
I wouldn't say you don't know anything.
A little. I know people get in the truck and drive, and they turn the sirens on, and they put people on a stretcher, and they drive them to the hospital. I do know that.
Go ahead, call us ambulance drivers, man. Do it. You won't do it.
And I know the insurance companies pay a lot for people to have safety training so that their insurance rates go down, and they don't get, there's a person on, Imgur? Do you follow Imgur?
I've seen some of the stuff. I don't really follow it, but I've seen it, yeah.
Reddit had some post today where a guy took a photo of somebody running a red light and crashed his, I think it was like a Mercedes EMS truck.
Ow.
Crazy. Anyway, so my thought process of the whole firefighting and EMS, and I understand that they're different. And so correct me if I'm wrong, it goes policeman, right? Firefighter, EMS?
You said you did it on purpose, didn't you? I don't know that there's a hierarchy there, but
What's the thoughts of the industry, though?
Police are oftentimes not seen in the same. If you were to stack them up, police are over here, and then really and truly as a general, and I start out in fire, so before you guys start getting pissed off at me who are watching. Fire service is really looked at as they're up here, and us in the ambulance business, we kind of get a little ticked off sometimes because those are the guys that are up there, they're getting the handshakes and the keys to the city kind of crap, and we're out there getting stabbed. That's what we're talking about. Stabbed, shot at, our ambulance is stolen, and don't get me wrong, the fire they had to deal with this kind of stuff too. And
here's the thing that kind of made me think, especially in thinking about that November, the stabbing in Pennsylvania. So let's say I get a heart attack, right?
Uh-huh.
So I get a heart attack. It takes about, let's say, half hour or under for the ambulance guys or the EMS guys to come get me, stabilize me, right?
Yep.
Then take me to where I need to go, right? So that's like an hour at best, right?
Well, depending on where you're at, like where you're at in Houston, it probably wouldn't take that long. Whole call is probably done in 30 minutes. But
yeah, easy.
Yeah.
In the meantime, that hour, those people on the truck or in the ambulance are getting paid $15 for that hour. That to me is freaking insane. And I just learned that. And then to have to deal with probably drunk people, right?
Yeah.
So here's a story. Well, I don't know if I want to tell that story.
Maybe we'll save it for another episode.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, so you see the thing that I put in the show notes, just some different things for us to talk about. And one of the things is guy in Idaho, MVC stands for motor vehicle crash, or MVA, motor vehicle accident. I used MVC, and yes, guys, I know I fuss at you about using acronyms, and we shouldn't, but EMS shows up on scene, and the guy starts shooting at him. Now, he's in a car wreck. Somebody's called an ambulance. I mean, how crazy is that, man?
That's nuts. So what do you do about that, though?
Well, apparently, and I read part of it, apparently they shot back, but and you're not supposed to do that. We're not really
The EMS guy shot back?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
They're allowed to carry guns?
No, we're not supposed to carry guns. I don't even think in Idaho. Now, if you're in Idaho and you're watching this, or maybe you're somewhere else, type down there in the comments, in the bottom. That's what they're there for. Tell us about it. Where do you carry guns? What are you carrying? You can be anonymous if you want to. Send me a message, an email or something. I want to hear about this. It's awesome.
That's pretty nuts.
I had somebody tell me the other day, I asked them, I said, hey, are you going to Baltimore to the expo? And he goes, yeah, I don't go anywhere I can't carry a gun. And I was like, you carry a gun on the bus? And he was like, yeah, dude, I pack everywhere. And and it's gotten that way because, heck, I picked I picked 6 things. The number one thing was the thing that I was going to mention about the report that we were talking about earlier and kind of how I kicked this thing off. But down the road, like hour and a half from me, Columbia, South Carolina, whooping the crap out of EMS folks. They just waited for them, called and then waited for them.
Wait, what happened?
Yeah, they called 911, and when EMS got there, they jumped out from behind the building or some crap like that and started beating the crap out of them.
Are you serious?
Yeah. and this is crazy like this. And when I worked in Atlanta, and it's been almost a decade now since I worked in Atlanta, and it used to be really bad, and it was even bad way before I started working there, and it's gotten a lot better. And I use Atlanta as an example, and Atlanta's not the only one. I mean, you got places like Detroit, Chicago, New York, Boston, Houston, Dallas, whatever. Big inner cities. It's rough. It's crazy, man.
So what do you do? So okay, this is what I want to know, especially with this stuff going on. So now, let's say I'm studying to become an EMT. That's the first step, right?
Yep.
And then I have to pass the NREMT. I think I learned that.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So now you have all this stuff going on. Why would you want to be an EMT or even a paramedic in Chicago or crazy? Like, what would be? I don't know. I don't get the decision of why someone would want to do that.
So we're going to do. I think we're going to have to do a whole show on that specifically. But I'll answer your question kind of shortly here and say that this is the number one question. So you mentioned Reddit earlier. I peruse some Reddit sometimes and some other EMS blogs and stuff, things on Facebook, and that's the thing that people are talking about. Man, I got into EMS. It was cool. School was fun. What the crap, man? They're beating us. They're kicking us. They're spitting at us. They call us in their worst time, and it's like, what in the world are you doing? Why are you being ugly to us? Why are you being an ass to us? We're here to help you. And so,
look at the people that you're picking up, though, because in my mind, so you're going to some old lady's house that she fell down or something.
Sometimes, sometimes it's little old, grandma. Sometimes it's the thug on the corner selling crack. I mean, you never know. And that's the thing. It's everybody. It's not just one person. So why we do this? Most of us do it because this is what we want to do. And we learn to tolerate it. Some people can't. I talked about that in some of those other episodes, especially when I talked to Dr. Sholey and we were talking about PTSD and EMS. That is a big part of it. That's a big aspect of our mental health and our mental aspect of it. You mentioned the pay. Pay sucks. The hours suck. People abuse the crap out of us. They're shooting at us. They're stabbing us. I was just going to tell you, they stole an ambulance one time. They stole one of our ambulances. I was on a call, went in the house, come back out, and I'm like, where the crap's my ambulance?
That's crazy. So let's say this. So someone gets hurt.
Yep.
You guys come. Then they're like, oh, no, I don't want to be helped. I'm going to go spit on you.
Oh, no, they still want your help. That's the thing. They'll be cussing you and, hey, MF this, you need to do this and do that, and don't be asking me all these questions. I just want you to take me word for word. So
I don't understand how you go about, like, I would just drop them and just go, okay, see ya.
You can't, though. I mean, you have a legal obligation.
Really?
Yes, you have a legal obligation. These people, and I think
even if you work for a private ambulance company, you have a legal obligation.
Yeah, once you make patient contact, there's something called abandonment. So if you leave this patient without turning them, and once they call you and you show up there, now you can leave the scene for safety reasons. Now that is acceptable, and you can leave them, but you have to document. You have to get police involved and things like that. You can't just, okay, see ya, get in your truck and drive off, and that be it. You can't do that. But people have lost their license. People have gone to jail for that simple fact.
You go to jail for that?
Yeah. You endanger somebody's life.
So if someone's spitting on me while I'm trying to help them out, and I go, I've had enough, I can go to jail?
Well, if you just leave them there, depending on where you work and how the rules are set up, yeah. It's something as simple as just getting fired and maybe losing your license, which you've lost your livelihood, and you might as well be in jail because that's about the only way you're going to pay for 3 meals a day. But, seriously, it's kind of a messed up system. And most people know this. You have people who are career family EMS.
Really?
Yeah. So you know James Boomhauer, right?
Yeah.
And I've mentioned him a couple of times in some of the episodes. He and I work together, so I know you know him. But he's like a career guy. His family. You mentioned Limmer earlier or something. I mean, his dad knew Limmer. They were like, came up together. You know, he's like I mean, and that's just one example. A lot of these people are shaking their head going, yeah, my dad, my brother, my uncle, you know, I've had a lot of friends over the years that, well, I'll tell you a story. And you talk about how people just, you know, we get beat up on, but, and, you know, there's that one defining moment of this is why we do it. Guy that I work with, and I'll just, if you hear it, Jimmy Patterson, yeah, I'll tell a story about you there, James. He was a firefighter. Now, he worked EMS, worked for an ambulance service when he wasn't working. His primary job was fire, but they responded to EMS calls. He's at the station, hears his address go out for possible cardiac arrest, and he was like, that sounds familiar, and it clicked. It was his dad.
Really?
Yeah, so he responded. They worked the arrest, got his dad back, which was phenomenal. They said he was like a super professional guy, super smart guy, great person just to be around and know. So I don't doubt that the stories they told about how professional he worked it and how he was just from the standpoint of basically treating it like you would somebody you don't know, which was pretty freaking awesome to say that. But
so you're saying he saw his dad save the dad's life, but still treated it
like it was nobody, like he didn't.
I don't know if I could do that.
And it's hard, man. You have to. And that's the thing that people don't understand about EMS, and this is why it's so. And I know we've kind of gotten a little bit away from the topic of this show, which is really about the being abused. But that's the kind of the mentality. We get abused, we get shot at, we get, you know, kicked, cussed, you know, all kinds of crazy stuff. Yet every day we get up, we button up our shirt, we put the uniform on, and we're ready. Ding ding, round two, let's go again. And that's kind of it, because it's that mentality you have to have. But, you know, it's important to know that it is dangerous. To understand it's dangerous. I put another thing on there. There was a guy, like, what is this, the 7th? Yeah, 3 days ago. And now this is in South Africa. It was outside of Cape Town somewhere. But guy was stabbed to death. You go, okay, well, that's South Africa. Cape Town is like nice area in South Africa, man.
Wow.
Stabbed a dude to death on an EMS call for like a general sickness call. Nothing big to do. People do all kinds of stuff, man. Partner and I, and I don't usually tell a lot of stories, or I try not to tell a lot of stories because I want it not to really be about that, but I think this is pertinent. So it was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. We were working night shift, riding the streets, and we saw this guy come running out of this house. We're like, okay. And we're sitting like, you know, half a block or so away. We can see kind of at the corner there, and he comes over to our ambulance, and he's like, hey, man, somebody went in that house and did a bunch of shooting. I was like, is he in there? And he goes, no, man, it's good. So we pull over there, kind of, we let dispatch know. No. Yeah, it was a double dumbass on me, as Spock says. Yeah, I got out, partner's driving, I got out of the bus, the guy ran out of the front door, shot at our truck, or shot in the direction of our truck, and ran around the house.
The same guy?
Yeah. He shot in the house one more time, and then he shot at us. So it was actually 2 shots, but one was in our direction. And I don't think he was actually shooting at us. I think he was just waving his gun as he was shooting. I don't think he was intentionally shooting at us.
Wow.
Bystander told us there wasn't nobody in there.
Where was this at?
This was in downtown Atlanta.
Wow.
Yeah, in a residential area. Not the best part of town, but nonetheless.
So what do you do after stuff like that happens? You just get back and go back to work? I don't get it.
You scrape your shorts out, man, and you go on. Now, in all honesty, I mean, you know, you have that oh shit moment. Sometimes you go, that was the thing you don't do. You know, and you go, And again, I don't think he was really shooting at us. So, and I got that at the moment. But, it scared the crap out of me a little bit, and I jumped back in the truck. I mean, I sort of kind of jumped in real quick, and he hit the gas, and we went down the street and waited for police to get there. Now, luckily, the guy was a super bad shot. the 3 people he did shoot was like one guy was shot in the arm. He went in his house and like just unloaded a gun.
Wow.
And yeah, guy shot in the arm, one guy shot in the butt, and another guy's like barely grazed on a leg or something. I was like, well, you know, he's not going to get any marksmanship award. But, you know, not always that lucky, man. You're really not always that lucky. And I think we see that. And, you know, I don't want to be anti-gun. I don't want people to think that. I mean, I was a Marine, not anti-gun. I'm anti-being shot at. You know, unless I can shoot back at you. And when I'm riding the bus, I can't shoot back at you. That's the way it doesn't work. So, you know, it's dangerous out there, man. It really is. And I'm not saying take away the guns either. I think it should be like the old West. Nah, I shouldn't say that. Probably shouldn't say it's like the old West.
They just passed the law to open carry anywhere.
Yeah. So, I don't know, you know, and that's a conversation. I asked this, I don't know, maybe the second or third episode in. At the end of one of the episodes, I said, hey, what do you guys think about EMS carrying firearms? Because it's been a topic. It's been a point of discussion. And when we talk about the safety, we talk about shooting, stabbings, people running cars up in the middle of the building, getting out and fighting with the police and EMS. That's number 4 on the list there in Canada. Like a couple of days ago, a guy drove a car into the side of the building, got out, started whooping the crap out of the police and EMS. It's like, what the heck, man? So, you know, you never know. And I mean, I did that to prove a point. It's in my backyard. It's in Pennsylvania. It's in Canada. It's in South Africa. It's in Texas, Idaho. It's everywhere. It's not just one little hot pocket area. It's not just the inner city. It's out in the middle of rural nowhere. As some folks say, you know, out in Dogpatch, USA. It's everywhere, man.
Well, what do you think about? So let's say you're out in California, and you know how they're doing this preventative care now for paramedics are doing.
So community medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
so
not just California, but yeah, they're doing it in Texas too.
Are they?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Are they doing it in Houston?
Yeah. You know what?
What do you do there?
A lot of people don't know that they're doing it.
Huh?
So I think it's a different kind of aspect. So here are the type of things that we deal with in EMS from a different type of scenario. And we've mostly been talking about someone calling 911, EMS showing up, and that's what a lot of these are. This stuff that I've got listed here that we've kind of talked about and mentioned. But there are still those calls where, and in all honesty, I'm just sort of kind of speaking from what I know a little bit about community EMS because it is so new. There's only about 4 or 5 places that really even have pilot programs even going. It's only about a year or so old. Some of the education has been around about 3 years, so it's real new, and there's a lot of different aspects to it. But this is like scheduled stuff. So you kind of have, or maybe they call and they go, hey, not really a 911 emergency, but, you know, so maybe somebody's out of their meds, or maybe there's something wrong with their meds. They think they're messed up. So it's not really something that probably should be 911 anymore. Things that we have run 911 for, not really now. So I think that's a different situation. It's not really.
When I read it or when I heard of it, I thought it was, no, not joking. I thought it was you drive around in the ambulance saying, hey, how's it going? You need any help? And then maybe I think I'm wrong on that. I think you're right.
That's the far end spectrum of it, and I think there is some of that. I think they do. And I'll say, in the good old days, we did a lot of community outreach. So we would go and maybe we'd sit in front of the Walmart, or we'd go down to the local like community. Really wasn't like old folks' home, but it was like.
Like a retirement home.
Yeah, it's kind of like a retirement community, and you might show up at like at the whatever management house, and you sit out there with the ambulance and go, okay, we're
like
gonna
the villages.
Yeah, and we're gonna take blood pressures, you know, for a couple of hours. We put out flyers and go, hey, EMS is gonna be here. We're gonna take blood pressures. We want to talk to you. Have any questions about your medicine or anything like that? Is there anything you know you might have some concerns about? and it's kind of a good way for them to see us. We interact. We know a little bit about them. We help them out, and it's just good PR. And
you guys still do that?
No, most places don't do that anymore because you just don't have the time. You're
running. CVS started doing it inside of CVS and Walgreens.
I don't know if that's why, but it's just you asked the question earlier. So we've been talking about this for 25 minutes now, and you asked me why people willingly, knowingly go into this profession after knowing this stuff. This stuff is happening. And I think there is a little bit of decline. I don't know the statistics. I don't know the numbers, so I won't say that 100% that I know that there's a decline. But there is a shortage. There is a patient population, and there is a provider population, and it is very disproportional to what it was 5 years ago, to a decade ago, to 2 decades ago, because population is growing.
I looked at the job ads for paramedics in Houston, $2,000 to $5,000 signing bonus.
And it's
for paramedic.
Yeah, it's that way in most places. You can't fill the seats fast enough. A lot of places have gone to a tiered response system where you have. So you have a paramedic who we call them rovers or rapid response. You put them in an SUV with a jump bag and some paramedic equipment, and you've got basic EMTs and drivers riding around in the ambulance. They respond to the call. If they need a paramedic, the paramedic goes, or maybe the paramedic shows up the call and goes, you don't need me, here you go, and he goes to the next one. And so he don't really do the transport unless he absolutely has to. They take care of the transport. He takes care of, it's kind of like a triage system, and it's just because there's such a shortage. And with the new base education.
Why is there a shortage? Is it because people aren't paying enough, or what is it?
Some of it's pay, some of it is, and I think we'll talk about this probably in the next episode when we talk about a little bit about education, how National Registry works. But National Registry is kind of being that stopper. It's harder for people to get out there into the workforce because a lot of people are not passing. It's kind of retarding some of that prospective growth when you've got national average is about 68% people passing first-time National Registry. Well, you got 100 people, 68 of them pass. The other 32, maybe they pass, maybe they don't, maybe they give up. And when you put this on 1,000 scale across 50 states, it makes a big difference. In a place like Rhode Island, when there's like 9 paramedics in the entire state, 9 or 10 paramedics in the entire state. There's not many. It's like less than 100. I know that. I believe it's actually less than 50. I said 9, but I think it's like less than 50 because the state's so small. And then you've got a state like Georgia. Hell, Texas has got 20 or 30,000 EMS providers.
Just in Houston, there's ambulance companies and EMS everywhere.
So, safety is a big issue, and I think asking that question, why, is probably a good place to stop for this episode. And let's pick that up, and we'll have that discussion a little later. Marty, dude, it has absolutely been fun. I was so excited for the last week or two, thinking about leading up to this, what we were going to talk about, what we're going to do. I think this was awesome. I look forward to doing it again. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you look forward to coming back too.
Yeah, it was fun. It went faster than I thought.
It really...
5 minutes. It's kind of weird.
It does, man. It really goes by. Sometimes I find myself just jibber-jabbering a little bit, whether it's by myself when I do some of these or talking to somebody, and it just really goes by.
Are we going to do this next week or what?
Yeah, I think we should do this next week. It's a weekly episode, man. So, come on back. I think it would be good for you to be my co-host, and like I said, we can do this weekly, and you can provide that outsider's look, and I think you got some people fooled. I don't think they really know, and I don't want to tell them how deep you really are at EMS and how much you know. I like your twist and your perspective, and it's been a lot of fun. Just sort of kind of hitting different angles from this one perspective. We came at it from a lot of different angles, and I think that was really good. And it gave us some ideas for some other episodes to talk about stuff. So we've been bending folks' ear here for almost 30 minutes. So have fun. Stay safe out there in Texas. Guys, this is all the time we have this week. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube channel. Like and share us on Facebook and Twitter. Go to our website, mediclifetv.com, to get on that latest information and updates. Hey, if you want to be that well-informed lifer, don't forget to get on our lifers list, and you can sign up on the contact page there at mediclifetv.com. As always, in the bottom is all that information you can find in the description, and you can like us down there in that little subscribe button. It's nice and red for you to point out. This has been Medic Life, episode 20. From me here in Augusta, Georgia, Marty there in Houston. You guys stay safe out there, and thanks for watching.